Hello, I'm Fame Harper, and my friends at allfreecrochet.com asked me to show you how to make a ring mobile wind catcher. I love hanging beautiful ornaments in my yard on my patio, and so I'm going to crochet one with 3 rings. I've got my selection of novelty yarns here, just waiting for a project, and I think these will look cool around the ring. Here's a good one. And I'm using a J crochet hook. That's not critical. Whatever size works best with your ring and your yarn will do. Now, I already made this one for my crochet around a ring tutorial, so if you don't know how to do it yet, you might want to watch that first. And now I have to cover the other 2 rings. One of them is 10 inches and the other one is 12 inches, and that looks like it's about 6 inches across. But you can use whatever size rings that you have. I lied. The middle ring is 5 inches, not 6 inches. So there we have it. This particular novelty yarn has 2 plies that you can see. So every time you do a stitch, make sure you catch both plies in there. Sometimes novelty yarns are easier to work with if you use worsted weight yarn as a 3rd strand alongside them. And they also go further that way since they're kind of expensive. But for this, I'm just going to use it straight off the skein. First, make a slip knot. Grab your ring in your other hand. Okay, I'm going to go through the middle of the big ring, pull up a loop, and then single crochet, and then from there on out you single crochet every one. Go through the big loop, pull up a loop, go through both loops, 1 single crochet, pull up a loop, pull up and go through both, another single crochet. Just go on around. I wanted you to see how I'm doing it here. It's all a matter of getting everything balanced so you can hang on to it. Then it goes pretty quickly. Now I've decided the orange one doesn't really play well with the other colors in the group, so I'm going to undo the orange one and do one of these fuzzy yarns around that one. See how fast that pretty much goes. And then pack it as tight as you think it looks good. You might have to push it around a little bit. And then when you're done, fasten it off with a slip stitch. Before you join it, make sure it's not twisted, because it can get twisted around there. Just feel it, and the crocheted side will be obvious, and you can push it towards the inside or the outside depending on what you're making. For this, I'm pushing them all to the inside. Make sure it's not twisted, and then join it. Now at the end I have the hanging end, so don't get tangled up in that. Just leave that over there. Figure out where it goes exactly. Now I'm going to grab both of those first stitches there. Take your working yarn, pull it through both loops. It's kind of tricky with the ring in there. That's a slip stitch. And then cut. Pull it through, and then weave in those ends of both the beginning and the end. You're ready to do the next one. So I'm gonna take this one off and redo that in one of the fuzzy yarns. This is actually fun when you don't have to do it. Like if there's no mistake, you're just doing it for fun. It's like popping bubble wrap. There, I'm going to save the scrap for something else. And now I'm going to do it maybe in this one. Now this one is really thin yarn when you look at it. It's a little more squirrely, but I'm sure I can pack it in tighter. and cover up the metal part. It's going to take a little longer because yarn has what's called loft, and loft is how much it compacts when you put it under pressure, and this compacts quite a bit, which is probably why one skein doesn't go very far. Sort of like knitting with air, or crocheting with air. There, and then you would just scrunch it together. Scrunch, is that a word? This came out very cool. You could put a picture in there somehow. You could have a cool hanging photo ornament. This is going to be fun. Isn't that cool? I feel like I'm crocheting an ostrich. Or big fluffy bird or something. Isn't that funny? If you drop one, pull it up high enough so you can see where you dropped it and go back in. Actually, this stuff tangles, so even if you totally missed a stitch, it probably wouldn't unravel because it gets caught on itself, but let's at least try to be technically correct and go through the loop. Alrighty. That looks very cool. Once again, this also has two plies. There's the confetti ply and then the fuzzy white hairy ply, feathery, I don't know what you want to call it. And make sure you get both of them with each stitch. This is fun. Now, for the bigger ring, you might find it easier to hold the hook like a butter knife compared to this way, the traditional way. It's a little hard to get it around because the ring will not move. I can't even do it that way. But if you hold it overhand like this, you might find it easier. Now, if you wanted to give this an entirely different look, you could crochet around it with a rope type product like hemp or jute or linen or something like that to give it a more almost nautical look to it. Now, when you're all done and you have all your rings together like so, you could hang a cool ornament in the center. Like if I had a little crystal hummingbird, I could hang that right there. And I haven't decided yet if I have anything cool enough to go in the middle. Or you can just hang it plain. I mean, it's certainly enough visual interest just as it is that you don't need anything in the middle. So I'll leave that up to you. Now I'm going to go find my yarn needle and weave in all the ends. I've decided to join my rings together with chain, and I picked out one that I thought would work well. Because I wanted to be able to spin in the wind, I didn't want to just use the crochet thread. But if you're just hanging it and you don't care if it blows around, then you can just use thread. I just opened the chain with some pliers, and I'm going to put it right over the ring. Okay, I got the first one on. Now I'm using my wire cutters to cut it, and I'm just going to link them all together. There it is. Pretty cool. Needs a light breeze and hang it out of the direct sunlight so it doesn't fade. I don't know if I'd leave it up 24/7, but I definitely hang it up for parties or to decorate my craft fair booth. Alright. Well, that's it for now. Enjoy crocheting around rings. See ya!